Hello everyone from the JNY Crochet channel. This is Johnny, Professor Jew's husband. Once again, I'm here to stick with what we agreed on because now I want to learn crochet for good. And the hook was already here on the floor, hold on, but we're here for another video. Yesterday I made a little video, right? I did a basic quiz, testing my knowledge. I started watching the Crochet Club lessons, and today I'm going to watch the first lesson of the Crochet Club and talk a little about what I learned. Let's start with a basic quiz. It's for those who are just starting out. Yeah, I like quizzes. I think they're really cool. They help give you an idea of your knowledge. So the first question is, where should you look for information about what size hook to use for a certain yarn? On the tip of the hook by measuring with a ruler, like a school ruler, on the yarn label, or just by touch on the yarn label, right? I know this one, guys, especially because I even have it right here. Look, the hook, let me see here. It also shows up here as 13.5 millimeter. You've seen it. Teacher Jew says it several times, so I know it. Let's go to the next one and see if you know it. There are two main ways to hold a crochet hook. What are they? Pen grip and knife grip. I think I've already seen this with Teacher Jew. I think the pen grip is like this, and the knife grip, if I'm not mistaken, is like this. If I'm wrong, please correct me. Yeah. What happens if you choose a needle much larger than recommended for thin thread? Larger than recommended for thin thread. Yes, the needle will make stitches that are too loose and holes. Yeah. Clube du Crochet is already helping me. What is the purpose of the magic ring at the beginning of the work? I watched a little bit of the second class, so I know that I just guessed it here. So I know that the magic ring, the goal is to make the work turn out looking dark? No. B, to be the reference for the mother's hand? No. To start round pieces, you can fully close the center hole like this. I got it right? 5. The rubber-handled or ergonomic crochet hook is recommended for what? To provide more comfort and reduce hand fatigue, I imagine. To prevent the yarn from unraveling? No. Only for those who use very thick yarns to make more stitches? No. I think it's A. Another correct answer. Remember, this is artificial intelligence. I'm not sure if that's right though. Guys, what is the text that appears on the labels of the threads? The name of the brand that makes the thread, the suggested price of the product, the expiration date of the thread, the measurement that indicates the thickness, the weight of the yarn. It's AD, if I'm not mistaken. Text appears here, right? I've seen it before. Here, in this case, the logo, the name of this thread, right? It's text 600, which Professor Jew said uses, the woman 13.5. I can even start with this one, because yesterday I was in doubt and I asked her. It's the yarn thickness measurement. When starting a row of chains, should the loop that's on the hook be counted as a stitch? When starting a row of chains, should the loop that's on the hook be counted as a stitch? If I'm not mistaken, yes, but I'm not sure if it's always true. I was wrong. If you count the yarn over on the needle as a stitch, your stitch count won't be off compared to the pattern. No, it's just the working yarn over. The stitch count starts from the first completed chain below the needle. I'll confirm this with Professor Jew later, but I made a mistake here. Let's continue then. What is the sample for? That little test square before starting a piece? I don't even know what that is. To clean dirt from the needle? No, it's just messy in the studio and doesn't make sense. To check if the final piece will be the right size? Maybe. To use up the leftover yarn? I don't think so, so it must be like that. But it was just a guess, right? It's not really an achievement. What is the best needle material for cotton yarn that slips a lot? Cotton yarn that slips a lot. Plastic, glass, rustic wood, steel. I have no idea. I'm going to have to guess this one, and I'll guess it's cotton that slips a lot. I think steel must slip even more, glass too, so it's either rustic or plastic, but between rustic and plastic, I'll guess plastic. It's steel. They're smooth and allow the cotton thread to slide effortlessly, speeding things up. So it's good for it to slip a lot, right? It's good because it makes things easier. I get it. 10. What's the main tip for someone who's just starting and feels their hands are very tense? Wearing boxing gloves while working? No. Squeezing the yarn as hard as possible? No. Stop crocheting forever? No. Take breaks and stretch your fingers and wrists? Yes. That's it. Look, today I got better, so I got 2 wrong and 8 right, huh? Look, 80%, that's already a significant improvement, right? So now guys, I'm going to move on to Clube Crochet, which I already introduced to you yesterday, right? I already talked about it. It's the subscription from Teacher Jew from JNY Crochet, which has more than 380. I think video lessons, there are several additional contents, so yeah, here I have the most watched ones. But I'm here in the crochet course for absolute beginners, right? Remember, there are several courses here, really, several. All of this is courses, these are courses that are here inside. So inside each of these courses, there will be several lessons, so it's a lot of content, but I'm here in the beginners section, so I'm going to watch this lesson here again. Now I'm going to tell you what I learned that's relevant from this, okay? Just a reminder, I won't play everything here because it's an exclusive lesson for subscribers, so if you want to watch the whole lesson, watch it on the Crochet Club, subscribe to the Crochet Club, come join us there, and I'm just going to watch it here and give my feedback on what I found interesting. I'll be right back. So, everyone, great, the lesson is done, introduction and basic materials, it's already marked as completed here. I'm even going to go back, I'm going to get ready here and queue up lesson 2 next, but I'll watch lesson 2 in the next video and I'll comment on it for you because now I'm going to talk about lesson 1. In lesson 1 I saw some really interesting tips about the size of the needle and the yarn. From what I understood, it's recommended to start with yarn type 6, which from what I gathered would be about this thickness here, this gauge. She left some yarns here, I'm not sure if it's type 6, but I think so. So it seems like the recommendation is to start with yarn number 6, abante number 6, and a 3.5 or 4 millimeter needle. I have a 3.5 here, which is what I found. Yeah, because that helps with visualization, especially for beginners. And also, not just for visualization, but also for seeing the progress of the piece, of the work. That's important for morale and self-esteem, especially for someone just starting out and watching their work grow. So, if you don't have abante number 6 or the 3.5 or 4 millimeter needle, you could use the 4 right, and then with the 3 needle if I'm not mistaken. If you have abante number 24, which is larger, you can use a 7 or 8 millimeter hook if I recall correctly. Here's what I learned in this class. I have my materials and needle ready. Yeah, it's interesting, it's important for us to follow these tips, because I remember that many years ago when she started, I also tried to do it. And really, it's very bad to start with a very thin thread, because there are thinner threads. For example, a thread like this thin. I think we started with an even thinner thread and with a very small needle, so it's really hard. Everything becomes much more difficult. And at the time, I stopped right there, but she still had the strength to go back and keep going, and nowadays she's a specialist. Yeah, but it really makes a difference. A little over a year ago, another challenge I did with the little bag here, I started with a bigger needle, a thicker thread, and it was much easier to even make the little bag, you know? So, it's important to follow these tips and really follow these steps, because for beginners, it's really important. Reminder, if you need materials, I'll list them in the description. I'll include number 6 yarn and a needle kit. It's best to get the kit, since you'll need several needles. It's going to be important. Later, in the next classes, she'll probably talk about other materials that are necessary, and she'll try, as much as possible, to leave them in the description to make things easier. Those who are learning to start, those who are learning to crochet with me, starting together with me, will also be able to discover the materials as well. And following the same steps as me then, so I'll try, as much as possible, since these days I'm more relaxed, to do a class every day, okay? Here, posting videos on the channel every day, to keep up with my progress, and also to encourage people who want to learn crochet. She also said that I could start with this yarn here, which should be maybe one that's compatible with number 4, right? Yeah, because the needle is 3.5 up to 600, it seems just a little thinner than this one. But anyway, this is what I learned today. I already have the materials set aside, the right hook, I already understand how it works. Now I just need to remember, right? I've seen it before, but I need to remember how to hold the yarn and the needle to start making the first stitches. I'll probably watch that in the next video, and then I'll share my thoughts here too, what I learned. You guys can judge if I'm learning properly or not. See you in the next video, guys. Bye-bye.